Hi, welcome everyone to the webinar. I'm going to slowly go through some best practice rules with you guys. So we've muted all of your microphones while we present to you. We can unmute the microphones if you have something to say. Use the raise the hand icon in the box. For today, we're going to go over 4 main topics with you. There'll be a message from the director. We'll present more information about the studies for next term and what you can expect in September. We will provide you with some online resources that are currently at your disposal if you're a fully integrated student if you're fully integrated already. We will also talk a little bit more about the tuition, the visa refusals, and the deferrals. We've received quite a few questions on these 3 topics. And we'll finish up with the presentation about ISS, the International Student Services of TBS, what we do for you, what we provide to you, and we will then have an open time for questions and answers that we can use with the chat box below. I'm giving a few more minutes for some last ones because I still see people are actively connecting. And I see some questions already in the right-hand box. Can you not hear me? Okay. If you can hear me and you have your video activated, yes, thumbs up or shake your head. Okay, perfect. Yes, the webinar is going to be in English. Internationally, TBS receives English-speaking international students who follow the full program in English. If you want to speak in French, we can do that by email or maybe at the end of the webinar if the question is pertinent in French. Other than that, we'll stay in English. You can express yourself in French if you wish, and of course we can do a live translation. I think we're all here now, so I guess we will get started. If you want to turn on your video camera, that helps us feel that we're speaking to people, not a black hole. We do appreciate it. However, if you prefer to stay invisible, that's also fine. All right, let's get started. In preparation, I'm going to launch a quick survey. I'm going to actually ask Florence to launch the quick survey of if you're a bachelor or master student. Florence, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, at the bottom of your screen, you should have a sondage option, and you can go ahead and launch the first question.
Where? You cannot launch it yourself? Jess?
No, sorry, you're the master, the director of international relations and development. If it's not working, we can just move on and perhaps you can say a few words.
Just tell me where is.
It should be at the very bottom of the screen next to conversation, share your screen, participants.
Sondage. Down.
There you go. So if you all could take a few minutes and just respond to the question, are you anticipating a master's level or bachelor level for the next term? Take a few seconds to respond and then push on submit.
Pour ceux qui ne comprennent pas très bien le français, ne vous inquiétez pas, vous pouvez nous écrire et on vous répondra. Il n'y a pas de souci.
So 80% gave an answer.
Okay, can we publish the results?
Not everybody answer. Okay.
Well, we'll go with
only
the rule.
83%.
Oh, that's great.
I wait. 84 now. 86.
I don't think you're going to hit 90.
I try. Okay. Alors. You want to see? Can you see the result? Okay.
Mm. Okay.
Can you see? Can you see it?
Yes, it's the 71% answered that you're at the master's level and 29% of you answered for the bachelor program. All right, so that gives us a little bit more information about who our audience is today. Thank you very much for responding. So to get us started, Florence Ramillon, the Director of International Relations and Development here at TBS, is going to talk a little bit more quickly about what is TBS, the transition that we're making for the next term, and how we will define the new normal.
Yes. Okay, so first I would like to say that I'm really delighted to welcome you today for this session, for this webinar. It's true that we are currently living unprecedented time with this crisis, the COVID-19, and I sincerely hope that we will be able to go back to a normal life in a very near future. In the meantime, we are eager to welcome international students in our programs, virtually or physically, and perhaps we will, and I'm sure, in fact, because it's the case for the universities all over the world, we will be obliged to work on both virtual and physical organization. TBS is as you know, you have seen, you made your research about TBS, about different programs, bachelor, master of science, master in management. So we are a triple accredited school. In fact, in 2019, we got the reaccreditation of EQUIS for 5 years, and the same for ACSB, 5 years. And the auditors, they really, at that time, they highlighted the academic excellence of TBS and the agility, and this is for me a key word, the agility to move, to react, and to adapt itself according to the situation. And this last month, believe me, we were quite good to adapt ourselves in this time. I would like, in fact, because I'm sure that some of you are wondering if you will maintain or not your project to study in France or to invest yourself in your bachelor master program. I really would like to take the time to keep your project for this academic year, because when we look at the economic situation all over the world, it's true that the professional market is currently living a quite complicated time. And this would be the best time to really invest on different competencies and to try to grow and to deepen your skills in management. This is the time to rethink our business. It's the time to rethink our way of working, our way of living, And this will be developed, of course, during during your lectures, during your business cases, during all, I would say, courses, seminar, conferences that TBS will organize. What I would say is we are still expecting the answer, the decision of the French government about the reopening of the borders. I think that our president will make a new, will give us new information in 2 weeks. We are expecting a reopening around June 15 inside Schengen first, and perhaps end of August for the rest of the world. But of course, what I say today perhaps will change. What the decision they will make in June perhaps will again change in August according to the situation. But anyway, I think that we will work, and it will be the same for our French students living in France. We will work both with the online courses and a life on campus. So the size of our classes, of course, will change. We will respect the health barriers that the government asks us to respect. This will have an impact on learning, but I'm sure that in the future, in the following months, we hope that we will be able to welcome you and be sometimes even in your online and on campus. At the same time, I'm a very optimistic person. All the best researchers in the world are working on the coronavirus. Therefore, I'm sure that they will find a treatment, and they will, and the Institut Pasteur in France is actively working on a vaccine. So stay optimistic. We wait for you, and it's time now for another talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Florence, for that. So the main points that we can remember is we should take advantage of the current environment, invest in study, and then once the job market starts to recover, it will be a perfect time for you to begin your internship and to have your professional experience.
Yes.
So we received quite a few questions about what you can expect by way of structuring of the courses for the next term. I'm going to turn it over to Roma, who is the head of the International Admissions and Promotions team. With a quick question to Florence, would you like to continue with the interactive questions?
Yes.
Okay. So we have one question for you. Did you complete your last academic year virtually at your previous institution? There should be a pop-up on your screen. You can select yes or no, depending on your situation. As we noted through many of our partnerships, many of the schools terminated last semester with online courses. And so we're interested to see how experienced you are with online teaching. Okay, when we get to a rate of about 70% return rate, we'll share the results of the survey.
Okay, I have 82%.
Wonderful.
Answer. Okay, I share.
Perfect. So 29% of you have some experience with virtual learning and 71% of you with no experience. All right, thank you very much for your return. So Roma, may I turn the floor over to you?
Yes, I really hope everybody can hear me well. Okay, so Jess, for example, can you hear me well?
Yes, I hear you quite fine, thank you.
If Jess can hear me, everybody can hear me, okay? All right, so guys, welcome. Thank you for your time today. I've had the chance to speak to a couple of you, whether like over the phone or via email. So thank you again for joining us today. So today, what I'm going to talk about would be a lot of questions, of course, have been asked about this particular subject. More information about like the studies. How will the online lessons work? Will live lessons will be filmed, or this kind of questions? For you to have an overview of what your next intake will look like. And the answers of the last question are quite interesting, because 71% of you guys don't have quite that experience already. So bear in mind that it will be kind of new for you, and it will be something also in development for the schools, because as Florence has said, we have been doing a lot of things, and I will mention it in a couple of minutes. We have been doing a lot of things as soon as the containment has been announced. So it's still improving. The idea and the objective is for us to deliver to you the best service possible, okay? So in terms of online lessons, how does that work? You can just remember that it will be a mix of physical and virtual presence, okay? As of today, not too much into details, really understand that it will be a mix of physical and virtual presence. Virtual being the way to start the program, so you will be able to start the program online, waiting for like official statements for different governments regarding the frontiers and so on. Will live lessons will be filmed. Of course, there are like certain regulation regarding respecting the copyrights, some copyrights, but yes, under certain conditions. Okay, so you can take into account that it will be filmed. Yes. In regards to the exams, of course, you will have some exams to do. So we have been partnering with a program called Test We. That is dedicated to students conducting exams online, okay? And about the quality of the course, many of you have been wondering, okay, there might be a difference between me studying in front of someone, like physically, and me studying in my room or in my bedroom, I don't know. So the quality of the course, actually what you need to understand is that it's already happening, okay? We had to face this situation from the early days of March, okay? So from the early days of March, we have developed a couple of things like more than 220 virtual classes, coaching sessions. So everything has been transferred into a virtual environment. Language courses online, and this I'm talking about this during the first week after the containment has been announced, okay? So everything has been set up really quickly, okay? We needed to be flexible and to anticipate this great change that we're experiencing in the landscape of education, of global education. That means also 90 daily courses, 90 daily courses on a daily basis. Which is about, like, for your information, 5,000 hours of classes, okay? In terms of pedagogical tools, some of you will know, some of you will get used to it, but very, of course, very flexible and very like designed for your understanding and your learning. Moodle, Microsoft Teams. Teams, of course, has been like the thing with Zoom during this containment, but Teams will be and is a tool that we are using and that you will be using to connect with the professors, your classmates all around the world, because it doesn't mean because you're not physical in Toulouse or in Paris, or it doesn't mean that because you're not here, you cannot interact with like the international environment that you were promised, okay, at first. So you can communicate with the professors, with your classmates, with your different group works, okay, from all over the world, all right? And of course, we have Zoom that you're, I'm sure now all familiar with. So a lot of tools that have been developed since March and that are up to date now and up and running right now. We also have invested in teachers training, because it's not every day that a teacher has to deliver his whole class, his whole lessons online. So the teachers have been trained, okay, to properly deliver classes to suit your needs, okay. And there have been also, like, we have been testing a system on virtual on one side and physical on campus to see how both will interact. The people following classes online and the people following classes virtual, okay? So the idea is to deliver classes for you to have like the best experience, okay? For it to be the best quality, the best like audio quality, the best video quality. So everything has been like, we have been working on those particular like segments for them to be up and running and well, amazing when you will be integrated TBS in the next couple of weeks, okay? And one thing that is important, and one point that Florence Ramillon just expressed at the beginning of this webinar, yes, there are things that you can control. There are things that you can't control, okay? What's happening to us right now, and what's happening to us, I mean, you and us, is something that we can't control, okay? So bear in mind why you decided to join a business school and to join TBS at first. What were those like 2-3 priorities? Why did you decide to join? This is still there, okay? This is still there and there, you know, your heart also. So it doesn't mean like, of course, the virus, everything that is happening right now, it's kind of scaring. And by the way, turn off the news, please turn off the news. But still, your interest, your motivation, and the idea that you are making in your head, your projection, that will be real, okay? It's just a matter of time of like right now we're delaying like maybe your coming like physical presence on campus, but bear in mind why did you select TBS in the first place? This still remain the same, okay? Well, that's it for me. Now I'm gonna hand over to Hannah, that is going to talk to you about like more information about our online resources. Okay, thank you for your listening.
Yes. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Roma. Thank you very much. So the points to take away from Roma's intervention is that you will have access to online books, learning material. We use Moodle, which is a platform, a pedagogical platform used in a large majority of the world. And we're putting in this blended or virtual module in place, so we do not have to delay the start of the school year. This was a decision that was taken by the TBS direction, so the dates that you have received will remain the same, and we will put in a hybrid or blended learning module beforehand. I see there are some questions about visa. We will get to visa in a minute. Right now, I would like to turn the floor over to Hannah Moser, who will talk more about the online resources that are at your disposal in addition to the Moodle online platform. Thank you, Hannah.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see some familiar faces. I've talked to a few of you guys already, so welcome. So yeah, like Jess said, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit more about what online resources we will be offering you guys so that we can guarantee the best sort of all-round experience at TBS, because we know that obviously for you guys coming to TBS and you know, networking, meeting people from all around the world is also a huge part of the experience. So we also want to retain that side of it as well. So Jess did mention the dates, and I did get a few questions about the dates. So I just want to remind you quickly. Like Jess said, for the moment these are not changing. So if you are integrating the bachelor in first year, you will be starting classes on the 7th of September. If you're going to start the Master in Management, it will be the 10th of September. And for our MSc programs, it will be the 14th or the 15th of September, depending on the program that you've chosen. And obviously you'll get more information about that closer to the time. So do we want to do the question again, the survey? Jess?
Yes.
There you go. So the question is, as you can see on your screen right now, is do you follow TBS on Facebook? So we have a TBS Facebook page. We also have an International Admissions Facebook page, and ISS, so the International Student Services, which Jess will talk to you about afterwards, also have a page. So it is really important for you guys to follow these pages. I will put the links, if you want, on the chat box on the right hand side if you want to go and follow them. Because they're just a great place to get up-to-date information, and in the ISS group, for example, to exchange with other students, other international students. So only 57 of you like the pages, so if you could go like the Facebook pages, that would be great. So yeah, so I was talking about the start dates. So before you start your classes, of course, one thing that is really important is orientation. So if if it weren't for this virus, orientation would have happened on campus. Unfortunately, again, this is something we have to adapt, but we've found a great way of doing this. So we've got an online platform, which you've probably heard of, which is called Discord. So it's an online communication platform. And we're going to be using this platform in order to create this online orientation, these orientation days. So for example, ISS will be there, and we will be there to help you complete French formalities, for example. And also something that's important is getting to know other students. So I don't know if you're familiar with the website Discord, but if you join the TBS Discord page, and then you can have conversations with people who are, for example, on the same program as you, who you have the same interests as. You can do games on there as well. We've got another online platform which we're going to be launching, which is called Jackbox TV. And that's the same sort of thing. So it's online games where you can actually play from the comfort of your own home, but you're playing with people who are all over the world, spread all over the world. So you still get that sense of international community, which is really important here at TBS. So things like icebreaking games, things where you can get to know the people that you're going to be sharing your classes with in the future, and online, obviously. So the next online resource, which is really important, and this is for those of you who have already paid your deposit. So if you haven't yet paid your deposit, you will get access to this as soon as you do. So if you have already paid your deposit, you already have access to this. So this is our campus platform. So campus is the online platform where you have all the information that you need. So for example, something that's really important for you guys is the international support section. And on there'll be, you'll see there's a whole section with answers to all non-academic questions that you will have. So things to do, for example, with accommodation, so the list of accommodation partners, to do with banking, to do with healthcare. I mean, there's really a really long list on there. So if you have already paid your deposit, then I really suggest you go on there. And that brings us on to our next question, which is how many of you have activated the TBS email account and visited campus? Florence, if you would like to launch the next survey. So reminder, this is for everyone who has already paid the deposit, because if you've not paid the deposit yet, then you will not be able to have access to this yet. So if you've paid the deposit, have you visited campus yet? You'll wait for those answers. I see there's people saying in the comments, Avinash, you have, Adiyut, you have as well, Kenza, Juan. That's great to hear. So as you guys would have seen, if you have connected to it, okay, so more people have not connected to it than people who have. So if you have already paid a deposit, I strongly suggest that you do go and have a look at Campus, because it has lots of information that you will be finding very useful. And then Campus will also be used. So Romain talked about the online classes, and he talked about the Moodle. So it's on Campus that there's also a pedagogical space. And this is where you will have all your learning material. So I saw, Trinity, that you asked a question about that. So that's where you have access to this. Okay, I also had questions about the library. So someone asked me, will I still be able to access resources like the library of TBS? I can confirm that you will. And if you have already paid the deposit, you already have access to our online library. So our online library platform has, it's got a huge amount of ebooks and subscriptions and electronic magazines and so on. It's an enormous database. I have a few numbers here. We have 15,000 ebooks, 50,000 electronic magazines, and we actually have 33 academic databases. So that's a huge number of different databases, which means that you'll have different academic writings on different databases. So you really have a complete access to everything that you need. And this includes, popular databases such as Press Reader, Business Source Complete. So I can confirm that you will have access, and you do already have access if you have paid the deposit. So nothing changes with that. Obviously, if you're not on campus, you can't go to the library, but everything that we have is online on our library platform anyway. And that is also accessible via Campus. Next question I have is, will I be able to take the language classes provided by TBS? So the answer again is yes. So our language centers, we have a language center here at TBS, and they organize all of the language classes, whether it be French, English, Italian, so on. And they have been working to deliver online language modules, which they have been doing since March, in fact. So yes, I can confirm that you will still be able to do your language classes as well. And one last thing that I would like to talk to you about, which is another sort of online resource should you want it. We're actually launching this year some online summer courses at TBS. So it's essentially, you have a choice of 15 different courses, and it's a really interactive experience where you get to connect with people from all over the world. And if you want to join, then you will be able to get a feel for what the online experience will be like in September when you start your course. So if you are interested in joining our online summer courses, then I will also put a link in the comments if you want to go have a look at the courses that we offer. I also highly suggest this. We have courses for bachelor level as well as master level. And yeah, I think it could be great for you guys. So that's it from me. Thanks, Jess.
Thank you very much, Hannah. So yes, once you have fully integrated into TBS, from today, you can start using the e-books, the online resources, the magazine subscriptions, and you can actually use our library resources, along with the tools that are there on campus for non-academic integration into France. So keeping up with the comments in the box, and also the highlight of our next section is tuition fees, visa refusals, and deferral of the program. So Clarice is our international admissions coordinator. I turn the floor over to you, Clarice.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Clarice. I hope that you can all hear me. So I'm gonna start with an important question that some of you asked again on the chat. So will the tuition fees remain the same? Is there a fee adjustment? So TBS, along with most universities worldwide, has moved to a hybrid model, as explained by Roman. You can have your courses on the campus or online courses if you cannot be at TBS in September. So as we'll do everything so that you can attend the courses. For the moment, the financial mechanisms stay the same. But if it changes, we'll get back to you and tell you more. But for the moment, the tuition fees stay the same.
Clarice, sorry, I'm not sure everyone can hear you.
Yes?
On my side, sorry, I cannot hear you, so I'm just wondering for the rest.
Okay.
Maybe
I hear you fine.
Yeah, it's fine. All right.
It's
all good then.
Fine
all
for
good.
the others?
All
Okay.
good.
Should we do a new survey?
Maybe
Can we
a
hear
little bit
Clarice?
louder.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, I will try to speak louder. I hope it's not too loud now. Okay. So the second question that you asked a lot today again was about visa refusal. So if your visa is refused, you will be refunded. But what happens if you start your classes online and then your visa is refused? So there are several solutions. First, if this situation happens, please send us the refusal because we know campus phones, the consulates, some embassies. So we'll try to see with them if they can reconsider your application. But of course, I cannot guarantee that 100% sure it will pass. But we can try something. If it doesn't work, so you have two solutions based on your application. We can try to postpone your application and defer it to the following year. So that you don't have to take again the admission process, pay again the deposit, etc. We keep your application for September 2021, if it's necessary. Another solution again, if really it's not possible for you to come at all and we did everything we could for you, then at that moment, a partial reimbursement will be possible. The refund will be proportional to the courses followed. So if you studied for 2 weeks online or 1 month online, we'll have to keep some of the deposit depending how long you studied online. But the rest, the remaining tuition fees of the deposit after will be refunded. So I hope it was clear for everyone, but for specific cases, at that moment, send us an email and we will see that with you, okay? Each situation is different, so don't worry, we will see that with each one of you if it happens. Yeah.
Just to confirm what Clarice said, TBS is a triple accredited business school with a high sense of ethics and equity. So what we do, we will just respect the regulations of first the French law, because we are located in France and we respect the French regulation about deposit, return, reimbursement, and so on. So you can be sure that TBS will strictly respect the regulations regarding deposit and so on. So if you cannot obtain a visa, for sure we will reimburse you. If you start the program and then have a refusal of visa 1 month later, of course we just will respect the principle of regulations. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you. The last question about the admission that you asked was the deferral. So we already answered some of these questions. One of the questions you asked a lot was, can the class start in January? That won't be possible for this year because, as you saw, we are putting everything in place so that everyone can start in September. If it's not on the campus, it will be online at the beginning, so everyone can follow the courses. So there is no reason for us to start in January. And also we are in France, and so we have a lot of French students, and they are all starting also in September. So there is no reason for us to start in January. If you have to come the following year because you cannot this year, as I said, it's something possible. We can keep your application for next year, but it's not automatic. So you have to send us an email, and we will consider your case one by one to apply for September 2021. So just send us an email, and we will always try to find a solution together. Thank you. So my part is finished. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Clarice. So just to quickly sum up, so the tuition fees at the moment are going to stay the same. There is a hybrid blended approach being put into place for all of TBS students. This includes international students who are unable to make it on time due to visa issues or the borders that are still closed. And this is also true for French students who will have a hybrid module due to the social distancing that needs to be put in place within the classrooms. Deferrals are on case-by-case basis to apply for the next academic year. That's to say September 2021. You'll have to send an email to the international admissions and we'll study your case. And lastly, if there is a refusal of the visa and TBS is unable to boost your application with our international contacts worldwide, then on a case-by-case basis, we will provide you with a partial refund. Now moving on to the International Student Services section of the webinar. I'm going to ask Florence to please launch the next question. And I would like to know how many of you are concerned about getting your visa. I think I can anticipate the response, but interactivity is always very good. We will try to get around a 75% to 80% response rate. All right, can we publish the results? Hi, Florence, your microphone is muted. Florence? There we are. So 62% of you are concerned about getting your visa on time, 19% no, and 19% are happy with, feel comfortable with the online courses. So I just wanted to do this quick survey to show you that you're not alone in your concern for getting your visa on time. This is a question that a large majority of international students are dealing with at the moment. You have to understand the international education market in France is very important to France itself, and that student visas will be prioritized once the consulates and embassies open around the world. When I say that the student visa will be prioritized, it does not mean a fast track, because safety of its citizens is also very important for France. So the different background checks and verifications that are in place will remain in place. However, the student visa application will be prioritized. The TBS tip that I can give you today is to go ahead and prepare your file, get all the supporting documentations that you may need, a copy of your previous degree, your financial resource statement, put all of it together so that when the online platform or the embassies physically reopen, you can submit your application and be first in line. So that is the best tip that I can give you as of today. Some countries may implement an online procedure for students. Other countries will issue what they call a pre-yes. So they will confirm that you have the visa, but they won't actually deliver it to you until everything fully reopens. So different countries have different mechanisms into place. As of today, and what you can do for tomorrow is to really collect your papers, read your procedure, and get everything ready to go. The next question I would like to address is about housing. So same question. Florence, if you could launch the survey. How many of you are concerned about housing in France? So we'll give a few minutes for everyone to answer. Again, hoping for a 70% success rate. Can we publish the results? So 73%. Well, on this note, I have some very good news for you. There is no reason to be concerned about housing in France. So the 73% of you, please don't be concerned. Actually, it's a phenomenon right now with the departures of students who left to go home early in March and the universities that are offering online solutions to continue the program. We have lots of available housing here in France. We've also worked with our housing partners, and they are willing to enter into collaborations where if the student doesn't get the visa, a full refund of the reservation fee and the deposit will be refunded to the students. So again, TBS is an ethical business school and we work with the high-end partners. Some other partners have also told me they would be interested to host a webinar. So in the upcoming weeks, we will have a webinar about housing in Toulouse, also with our banking partners. So you'll receive more information as you did for this webinar by email with the different housing partners that will be addressing you, the banking partners that will be addressing you, and they will be able to give you some more solutions. But the good news is that as of today, on the housing market in France, student housing is plentiful. So you do not need to be worried about that. The very last interactive question I have for you is about joining the program after it starts. So this is the very last question, just to get a feel for what you're thinking. Are you concerned about arriving after the program begins? You're going to simply click yes or no. This is a concern or this is not a concern. Okay, waiting for a 70% rate. All right, I think we can go ahead and publish. Can we go ahead and publish those results, please? So 61% of you are concerned about arriving late to the program. All right, well, my name is Jessica Chanyard, and I work with International Student Services, and I will be here for each and every, well, me or my team will be here for each and every student who arrives late to help you get placed in the classroom so you get to know who is who are the program direction. We have a team of French and international students. We call them the Welcome Team at the bachelor and graduate level. They will also be here to welcome students who arrive to France whenever you arrive. Some of you might arrive together, some of you may arrive on a Monday, Tuesday, throughout the week, throughout the months. We'll be here for you. As Hannah already presented, we have a Discord platform, which you will receive an invitation to in the first weeks of June. It will become the TBS International community online, where we will have ice-breaking games, we'll have cultural tours, we'll have competitions. The welcome teams that I mentioned will be actively animating this platform along with International Student Services. Currently, the platform, we're piloting it right now. There are currently roughly 50 participants to the platform. That number will grow over the next few weeks. There are 200 international students who decided to stay in France during the confinement period. And so we're also working with them, and they will also be here to welcome you when you arrive, because they do understand the challenges and the uniqueness of this upcoming term. Lastly, we received by email a question about health and safety. Don't worry, there's no survey to respond to. One of the questions we received was, what actions will TBS take to protect students' health? This is a very good question. So the French ministry produces recommendations for higher education institutions and what we need to follow. This will impact the classroom size, how many students are physically allowed in the classroom in order to respect the social distancing recommendations. And this is why I mentioned earlier that even French students will have some of their courses, not all, but some of their courses will be online and some of them will be in the classroom. When you arrive to France, you should expect a similar construct. In addition, social activities will also be impacted. So we're waiting to see bars and restaurants open up next week in France. So there will be recommendations following the opening of the restaurants and how the trends lay out with the COVID-19. And this will also give us more information to which we can make an educated decision. But there might be less students can go to different activities. We might be more restrictive on the number of students that are allowed to events. However, if this is the case, we will organize more events. So more quality events with less quantity of students might be what you're looking at for the future. The last question about health and safety, are there incidences of discriminations against the Chinese population here in Toulouse? That's also a very good question. To be completely open and transparent with you, I would say in January and February, when the story was breaking with the Wuhan, we have an Asian community here. If you coughed in the street, people will look at you, oh my gosh, a Chinese and Asiatic person who's coughing. Today, that's true for everybody. I had my daughter in the grocery store the other day. I'm trying to teach her to cough in her elbow. She's coughing because of allergies. We have lots of beautiful weather and lots of pollen these last few days. She's coughing quite a lot because of allergies, and everybody is staring at me like I have a bioterrorist child. So unfortunately, this I think we can see everywhere in the world. There have been no documented cases to racist or discriminatory events towards the Asiatic community here in Toulouse. We have professors that are coming from Vietnam, Cambodia, and China as well. They haven't documented any cases either. So I feel that Toulouse is still a very safe place to study. And we're living in times where now everybody is jumpy and on edge when it comes to your personal health. So when you have a runny nose, when you cough, when you sneeze, yes, people do look at you like, oh, I'm gonna catch something. But this is part of defining the new normal. And this is part of the world that in which we live. But I don't think there's any fear of safety for that. From my side, that's all I had to say about the international student services that we offer. Florence is putting on her mask. You can wear masks to school. It has not been said that it will be mandatory. However, if masks do become mandatory, then TBS will obviously apply this measure within its classrooms. For me as an American, a non-French person,
and
I was very
TBS
surprised.
will give masks to the students if it's compulsory as well.
Right, which is what I was going to say. The French government, when it made the claim, we had the largest plane that exists on Earth come to France with medical supplies. This happened in the beginning of April. And the French government mailed to every single household 2 masks that are washable and reusable, I think 60 times or 70 times. So this was a big initiative on the French part. So every single citizen in France received in their mailbox a surgical mask to wear in public transportation. So France is very serious when it comes to protection of its citizens and its international community, and TBS will do its utmost to follow all of the official recommendations as they come out. Because as I said, restaurants have not yet opened in France, and so depending on how this phase 2 evolves, we'll have to change our policies accordingly. So without further ado, that's the end of the webinar in its formal capacity. We can now take some time.
Jess,
yes?
Let's just add one thing just to make something really clear for you guys, because I see that there's a few questions about it. I put a comment already, but just to be really clear, the courses are, what we've developed is a hybrid model. So even once you arrive in France, you will still be following certain courses online. And this is because, for example, we have to follow certain restrictions, for example, a certain number of people in classes, and it will probably work on a weekly kind of, like a weekly basis. So one week you'll be in class on campus, next week maybe you'll be online so that your classmates can go. So that's how it will work. It's still a hybrid model. So even for French students who will be arriving in September, they also will be having classes online, just to make that clear.
Yes, and TBS did invest heavily in the training of all of our teaching staff on how to use online tools, the best practices when delivering a course online. And we mentioned Teams, Roma mentioned Teams earlier. So Teams is meant to be the interconnectivity way for you to have those informal and formal discussions with your classmates and with the faculty and with the TBS administrative staff. So I suggest if there are no other comments from the animators, so Hannah, Clarice, Roma, or Florence, if you have some questions which were not addressed already, please feel free to leave them in the comment box and we will address them now.
So I saw a question about how Toulouse has been affected by COVID. We're actually quite lucky here. There haven't been a lot of cases, and Toulouse is currently in the green zone. So I don't know the number of deaths in total, but we've been really lucky.
I think for the region, a really big region, so more than with all neighborhoods and more than 200 million people, less than 500 cases, but not deaths. Okay, so
I think around 50 deaths, maybe.
I do not remember. It was really a small small figure in the hospitals in Toulouse. No.
Yeah, but it's nothing compared to the rest of France.
Yeah, we're really lucky. Yeah.
In France, in fact, it's northeast, Strasbourg, Mulhouse, Metz, Nancy, close to German border and Luxembourg. It was this place with the highest rate, but we are southwest, and all southwest is green, so certainly no. In Paris, a lot of people, of course, so you have to be, for students who will join the TBS Paris campus. I share my life, Paris, Toulouse, Paris, Toulouse, Paris, Toulouse. My daughter is in Paris, so we just respect the rule. We have the mask and so on, and we can leave. The number of cases is okay. Hospital, you can. No, but it's not like in some other countries.
Yeah.
A few other questions have emerged. One question is about, until when will classes be in blended learning hybrid mode online? We do not have a response to this question as of today. It will depend on the trend of the COVID-19 virus. If phase 2 and phase 3 are implemented successfully, then perhaps we can get back to a new normal at the beginning of next semester, but we cannot commit to this today. It really will depend on the evolution of the virus and what the traditional flu season and how these two viruses merge together. We have a question about receiving physical copies of textbooks while attending classes. So part of the TBS pedagogy here is that we are a green institution, and so we do not require students to buy 100 different types of textbooks, only to read 1 or 2 chapters within each book. Most of the pedagogical support material is uploaded to the Moodle platform or accessible through the e-resources of the online library. So we do not offer physical copies of these books. They are excerpts or extracts from different resources, and students can print them at home, or you can consult them on the tablet or your computer. Perhaps there was a...
Yes, there is a question about the insurance. For the medical insurance, the impact of COVID-19 to the medical insurance requirement. You see? So in fact, in France, you will have access to the social security, and then you need to have another insurance to cover, in fact, the disease, because with the social security, you will get a reimbursement. If you go to the doctor, it can be 100%, but according to the disease and the different situation, you can get only 70 or 80% of reimbursement. And in this case, you need to have a private insurance in order to complete. And in France, we are able to offer you a list of insurance company, or you can choose one from your home country, which we cover everything in also in France. Jess, can you confirm?
Yes, I do confirm. And so registering yourself to the French Social Security is completely free of charge. All international students and French students have state-regulated health insurance completely free of charge. And as Florence mentioned, you can have a complementary health insurance should you have a pre-existing condition, or should you want extra healthcare coverages for your eyes or for dental. this is possible. So no changes or extra fees have been implemented into the healthcare policy of France due to COVID-19. The only fee that all students must pay is what we call the CVEC. It is a social tax for all students, French and international, and it's a one-time fee per year of 90 euro. So you will be asked to pay this during when you upload your photo for your TBS student card. So in July. I also see a question about the time of courses and how to follow courses through different time zones. So depending on when you're planning, if you're able to join in, we encourage you to do so. Courses will be recorded, and there will be restrictions with that recording due to copyright law. So the duration of which you can use the recording, how many times you can watch the recording. All of this is still being, let's say, improved. The technology is there, and now we're trying to improve how we diffuse this technology. But the classes will be recorded, and students who are in a time zone where it is not possible to follow the course in real time will be able to have access to this online pedagogical material. Free readings to courses. Professors upload all of their information on Moodle, so campus. Some professors require pre-reading. Some professors do pre-quizzes just to know where you're at. It's a general MCQ. It really depends on the professor. I cannot promise all of you will have pre-readings, but I cannot promise that you will have none. So you can consult campus. You need to consult campus, I would say the last week of August, the first week of September. Those 2 weeks is a very good time period to really consult campus to see what needs to be done. There will be nothing that requires more than 3-day dedication. Talk about the future of jobs and internships. So I'll say a few words and then I'll pass the floor on to Florence and Roma about the future of employment. So here at TBS, as a fundamental part of the program, an internship module is in place. I do hope personally that the market will start to recover and that internships will become available at the ending of your program, or especially within certain sectors. During the crisis, certain sectors have grown, other sectors have shrunk. We probably will go into a recession. We don't have all of the details surrounding this. But we do have coaches that are in place. So we have coaches who are in place to help you find an internship. We do have virtual online job forums. The coaches that the students will have access to here in France are also going to be made available to you in real time. It's an one-to-one coaching virtually. So you'll be able to meet with your career advisor. She'll be able to learn more about you, how you perform in the classroom, and what your professional project is. And she'll help you shortlist companies and sectors that correspond to your interest. I don't know if Florence and Roma, would you have a few more words you would like to add about employment after the program or the internships during the program? Perhaps Florence can present a little bit more about what was done this year for the students who had an internship and it was canceled.
So, yes, in fact, well, in France, the internship is compulsory for the bachelor and master in management program, not for all programs, but for these 2 programs, yes. So the COVID-19, of course, has impacted the organization of the companies. Some of our students, they do like us, home working. So the internship has been maintained, but at home. And for other, it has been cancelled. Right now, we see, and last week we had a meeting with the manager of the career office. She still continues receiving internship offers. Therefore, that's why it's very important that the containment will finish soon, because the companies, they need to have an activity. And with this activity, of course, everything will be easier, and we will be able to again offer more internships for sure. Romain?
Yeah, and if I can just add one thing, pretty much everything has been said. We at TBS, the final goal is for you to become a specialist. You know, Of course, this crisis will impact a lot of companies in France or in Europe, worldwide. So our goal is to make you a specialist, okay? And when the activity of these companies, of these countries will start again, those companies, they will want to hire specialists. Specialist means they are buying, of course, your skills, but they are buying time, okay? They will want to buy time to come up with what happened and to cover what happened. So wherever will be graduating from TBS will become a specialist. So keep that in mind. Of course, we'll see the evolution. As of today, of course, we are pretty much confident that the confinement, name it as you want, is pretty over now. But yeah, we're confident that your time at TBS, actually the timing that you have decided to do your studies, in some way I can understand it's not the best, because some of you wonder, okay, should I come to TBS? I cannot come, what should I do? But in the meantime, in 1 year from now, in 2 years from now, in 3 years from now, this situation will be over, okay? And we will be recovered, and you will be there to help companies and to help countries recover.
And just to add to that last comment of Roma, yes, in a few years' time it will be over, but I think the scar of COVID-19 will be left on our society, but it doesn't have to be negative. I've seen some reports online about companies who have gone remote working. It has worked out perfectly, and they're questioning having a brick and mortar. They're now questioning their entire business model and perhaps cutting down on rental costs in order to have their employees working completely from home. That means they can hire specialists throughout the world without having to deal with the visa issue or the cross-border hiring of people. So this could also have an effect in the future. And I think that gaining the remote learning skills during this hybrid model will also be skills that will be carried on with you should you have to do remote working in the future, or should you do an internship which allows you to work remotely from your home. That's also a possibility. So these competencies that you will be building are essential, I think, for the future, or for future jobs. If I go to a couple of other questions, there are some about translations of documentation. So if you do have a pre-existing condition, or if you do have prescriptions, I would have those translated into French before you arrive. You can go to your general practitioner. He can write a small report about what you have, what your diagnosis is, and you can have this translated into French that you keep around. We do have doctors who speak English, but sometimes it's also better for them to be able to study your case in French. And so an official translation would serve you, but it's not mandatory. Here in France, we also have what we call CAF, which are housing allocations for French students and international students who are staying with us more than a semester, so all of you. And you can receive housing allocations. So in order for you to access those, you will be asked to have a translated copy of your legal birth certificate. And so you can also start preparing these documents in preparation for your visa and when you arrive in France. So those are two other things that you can add to your to-do list. Payments before the program starts. There are no other payments before the program starts aside from the CVEC social tax that I mentioned earlier, which is a 1 year, one-time fee of 93 euro to be exact.
Yes, 90 euros. No, it's for sure France is a very good country to study if you compare with Australia. Canada, United States, I have friends there and they don't pay the same at all. So CVEC, Social Security is free. You have to pay for your visa because it's an individual and personal formality. Yeah, the deposit for the school, and that's it.
Okay, are there any other questions? I see one last question about what's the deadline for final registration to our programs? Roma or Clarice, could you please address this?
Sorry, don't know if you can hear me. The question regarding I just want to say something regarding the payment for those.
We can't hear you, Clarice.
We've lost Clarice, yes. Hi.
The microphone is off.
We lost Clarice. Romain, perhaps you can take and have the final word of this nice and active session. Ton micro.
Clarice, are you back? Or can you hear us? Or should we finish now? Are you back?
Yeah, I don't know if you can
you wanted to say something.
But in case, I think the thing I wanted to say, I know that you all have a lot of questions. I can see that we didn't have time to answer all of them. So don't worry, you can send us an email regarding admissions, payment, etc. Send it to Hannah or me, Clarice. You already have our emails. And if you have specific questions to related to non-academic questions, ask directly International Student Services, and we will answer all your questions, because I know that seems that you have a lot of questions. Yeah, don't worry, we'll answer all of them. And if you want also, we can have a Skype session with you one-to-one. If you have more questions that something are not clear for you, don't worry, we can call you, we can mail you, or we can Skype you, or we can WeChat you if you are in China. So really, we will answer all your questions, and I really hope that now you feel a bit more secure about your arrival in Toulouse, and that you are really confident about your admission to TBS. And I do hope to see all of you in September with us.
All right, well, that was a great final word, Clarice. In fact, you did it. So yeah, again, we are here for you. That's what we are saying every time we have you on the phone, by email. We are here for you. Anything that has not been addressed, of course, we're not able to address all the questions. We're really sorry about that, but we remain at your disposal. Any tools, WhatsApp, including Facebook, the Facebook page, Facebook group. We are here for you. Thank you very much for your time. I know that for some of you it's quite early, for some of you it's quite late. So thank you for the effort that you put into this. We'll make sure to make this webinar available for you, the recording available. And for any other questions you have, and I want you to understand that we are here for you. You have access to us 24/7, okay? Sometimes we sleep, but for our students, we're here, okay? Anytime, all right? So thank you very much, and have a great day or have a great evening, all right? So final word will be au revoir, because you have to know and to learn some kind of French, the beginning of French, okay, the basics. So au revoir et merci beaucoup. À bientôt.
Merci.
Merci.
Au revoir.
See you.
Merci, au revoir.
Mm-hmm.